Welcome to Homeschool Nolan, here to help you navigate learning in the digital age. There's been a lot of hype lately about AI, or artificial intelligence, and how it's going to take over a lot of jobs and take over the world. Naturally, this can cause anxiety, especially among parents who worry about their children's future. I've had conversations lately with parents who wonder what kind of jobs will their kids be able to do that won't be threatened by robots and artificial intelligence. With that in mind, today I'd like to share some thoughts on what we and our kids can do to stay ahead of artificial intelligence. But before we can figure out how to beat it, let's first review what we mean by AI. When most people think of artificial intelligence these days, they think of ChatGPT. Now, for those of you who haven't tried it yet, ChatGPT is an example of generative AI. It generates content such as text, images, and video. High school students can now use it to generate answers to physics problems and write essays on just about any topic from Shakespeare to Zen Buddhism. Journalists can also use it to write news stories. Artists can use it to create artistic images. In theory, anyone who produces content that can be digitized, whether it's in text, image, or video format, can be replaced by ChatGPT and AI. Anyone who analyzes, processes, and crunches data, like on a spreadsheet, can also be replaced by AI. Now, what I just described are the types of jobs that new college graduates would typically take as entry-level white-collar jobs. So no wonder more and more college grads today are unable to find high-paying jobs that they like. Now, all these AI systems are also powered by machine learning. They are fed vast amounts of data from which they are trained on to find patterns. In the case of ChatGPT, it was trained on the entire content of the internet itself. Because AI systems can be trained by the entire internet, there's no way a human being can beat it by storing publicly available knowledge in their head. Instead, the way to stay ahead of AI is by having specialized knowledge. Knowledge that is not based on information that's publicly available. General knowledge is what you learn in school and can be found in books and websites. Specialized knowledge, on the other hand, is usually stored here in people's heads and often takes years to acquire through training and experience. Many years ago, I read a famous book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now, I'm normally skeptical of these get-rich books, but there was one chapter on specialized knowledge that made an impression on me, and I'd like to read the first paragraph from that chapter. It says, quote, "There are two kinds of knowledge. One is general, the other is specialized. General knowledge, no matter how great in quantity or variety it may be, is but of little use in the accumulation of money. The faculties of the great universities possess, in the aggregate, practically every form of general knowledge known to civilization. Most of the professors have but little money. They specialize on teaching knowledge, but they do not specialize on the organization or the use of knowledge." With that in mind, just think of some of the most successful people you know in your life. Chances are they are specialized and really good at something. I work in the tech industry where knowledge about computer science and programming languages is readily available everywhere. But the most successful people I know in my industry are those who have specialized knowledge about particular industries or businesses and the applications of technology to these businesses. They're able to create and build new things that haven't been documented in a book or a website yet. They're able to create what's called intellectual property, which must be closely guarded if they don't want to lose their competitive edge. In short, if you can develop a skill that's based on knowledge not easily found in books or on the internet, then you're already one step ahead of AI. Before I conclude, I'd like to share what the great detective Sherlock Holmes says about knowledge in the novel A Study in Scarlet. Here's what Sherlock Holmes says. Quote, "I consider that a man's brain originally is like an empty little attic, and you have to stock it with such furniture as you choose. A fool takes in all the lumber of every sort that he comes across, so that the knowledge which might be useful to him gets crowded out, or at best is jumbled up with a lot of other things, so that he has difficulty in laying his hands upon it. Now the skillful workman is very careful indeed as to what he takes into his brain attic. He will have nothing but the tools which may help him in doing his work. But of these, he has a large assortment, and all in the most perfect order. It is a mistake to think that that little room has elastic walls that can distend to any extent. Depend upon it, there comes a time when for every addition of knowledge you forget something that you knew before. It is of the highest importance, therefore, not to have useless facts elbowing out the useful ones." Now, Sherlock Holmes says this long before the arrival of computers that can store unlimited amounts of information. But he knew then that the brain can only store so much information and knowledge. And if you want to have an edge in life like Sherlock Holmes, it's important that you choose carefully what you decide to store in your brain. Our children are undoubtedly growing up in an increasingly competitive world where they now have to compete against both human and artificial intelligence. It's more important now that we focus on developing their strengths and the knowledge that goes along with it. And I hope this video has been helpful as you and your children continue to learn and acquire new knowledge. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to click subscribe for more videos like this one. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.